Howdy. Well, yesterday I showed off a M95 carbine, a carbine made out of a Austro-Hungarian rifle from the First World War. This is sort of, kind of, almost like that. What you're looking at here is a K98k, or Carbiner 98 Kurz, which is what Germany used in World War II as their main battle rifle. Now, this one is not some pristine thing with all matching numbers on it. As a matter of fact, I can swear that every number on this thing is mismatched. Every single one. I mean, every little part on here, on an anally made German engineered rifle, will have numbers on it. Not one of these numbers matches each other. Most I realize why. I built this rifle from scrap pieces I found here and there. The bolt I happen to have, this action actually came from a Mauser, actually a sporterized Mauser. Stock was actually off of a 7.62, and as I recall, on one side, right here, it still says 7.62. It was burned into it. But this is actually an 8mm Mauser. Rings, nose cap, a butt plate, all came off of different, I think those were off of Numerich. And so is the sight. So, everything on this came from one place or another. I wanted a K98k, and this is the only way I could afford to get one, so this is what I did. I also wanted the handgun that was proper for that period. Well, I can't afford a P38, but I happen to have a Luger. This Luger is not a World War II one. It's pre-war. Matter of fact, if you look, that's 30 Luger. Empty, but that's 30 Luger. It's not a 9mm. This is a commercially made one that was actually imported into America. It has all the signs and all of the markings on it for an import. But it's a good Luger, so I figured that would do for to show with this particular rifle. I'm just showing that if you're into things like, and I'm really into military surplus. But to get military surplus, sometimes when the prices on things go up, this is what you're forced to do. And after Germany lost World War II, they ended the war with probably 15 or 20 million of these and substitute standards of these. I mean, they had the Czech VZs or CZs. They had they had Hungarian ones. They had stuff that came out of French factories, Polish factories. They had them from all over. But this, this one I think came out of it's hard to tell. Well, I can't really say where it came from. It could have pieces from all over the world. Very cosmopolitan rifle. But anyway, I know that after the war, you could go to, Shotgun News or many of the other magazines. Heck, you could even go to American Rifleman. You could find these for about $15 surplus because there were so many of them. Millions of them were actually thrown away. Just like the Japanese rifles that were dumped in Tokyo Bay. Well, a lot of these ended up being dumped in the Atlantic or in the Baltic. And they just threw a ton of them away. But a whole bunch ended up on the surplus market. Well, there were a dime a dozen. People would make sporterized hunting rifles out of them. They'd rechamber them for, 8.06, where they would chamber it out so they could load a 7.92 bullet in a 30.06 cartridge and then shoot it out of this thing. There are all kinds of dodges like that to make a reasonable hunting rifle that a poor man could come up with. Because, I mean, after all, hunting is food, and that's the way America works. You innovate. Well, then came the world of milsurp collectors, and suddenly a Mauser one with all matching numbers and pristine stock, et cetera, became Instead of being worth $8 to $14, it's now worth 80, 100, 200, 1,000. They kept going up. And right now, I know it's well over 1,000 for a pristine K98k. Well, this one, no one in the world but me would want, because this is not as it was back then. It's not even well put together. I mean, that ring up there is loose. This sight is sort of wonky. That fits, but just barely. This is the wrong bolt, but it all fits together, and it would actually shoot. And that's it. I just want something that it's got to be able to shoot, and it's got to have all the pieces that would be normal for a rifle of that period. I'm sure that the Volkstern late in the war would be more than happy to use one of these. But anyway, I'm just showing what can be done if you're really dedicated and you really want to get something that works.